talk about dunking, but the Twitter kind, and how it's messing up our lives. It's Martin SFP Bryant here from Big Revolution, the channel all about how tech companies communicate and how tech can help you communicate. And today I want to talk about Twitter dunking. This is where someone says something hateful or stupid and then other people quote tweet them, adding their own snarky or humorous commentary. Now, I'm not going to give any real examples of this, and that's not me just being a wimp. There's a good reason for it, and you'll see why shortly, but these mock-ups give a good example of what I'm talking about. Somebody said something hateful and horrible, and you're going to put them down and get approval from the people who are like you, who are going to like and retweet your message, and that'll give you a bit of a kick, make you feel good about yourself, and hopefully you think, share a better message about what that original person is saying. But the other thing you're doing is you're sharing that original message more widely and boosting the engagement for the person who said the message in the first place. Before you know it, that person who you dunked on might be trending because everyone's dunking on them, and suddenly they're more famous than they were before, and maybe they get more opportunities as a result. They get more TV appearances, more radio appearances, maybe they get paid to write newspaper columns, all because their profile has been raised. And what you end up there is they think, I get more success when people dunk on me, so I'll say more things for people to dunk on me for, and then I'll get more success. And it just becomes a merry-go-round of stupidity, dunking, success for the stupid person, and more stupidity, and the merry-go-round goes round and round and round, and it never stops. And the other thing it does, which is probably more worrying, I think, is that it helps contribute to this idea that Twitter is just a non-stop cavalcade of bad stuff. You know, people often criticise Twitter for being home to hateful people, and there's certainly something in that, and there's certainly a role for Twitter to do better at policing its own platform. But we can help too, by not sharing these horrible messages, even if we are dunking on them. I'm not saying we should ignore hate. If someone's advocating violence, for example, or just sharing hateful content, report them to Twitter. Maybe even report them to the police if it's appropriate. And if someone is sharing views that you disagree with, maybe reply and tell them how wrong they are so other people see your response and maybe get a different perspective, even if they agreed with the original person in the first place. But amplifying a terrible message only helps spread that message further. Yes, you might get a kick from the engagement stats you get on your dunk, but in the grand scheme of things, you're not helping the world in any great way, you're just getting a bit of a kick out of being a bit snarky. What you're really doing is contributing to a sense that Twitter is just a never-ending cavalcade of bad stuff that users are forced to look at in their feed, adding to a thoroughly depressing sense that the world is irredeemably awful. And yes, this also applies to screenshots of tweets. Sometimes people share a screenshot because it avoids getting the attention of the person who said the thing originally, and also it stops boosting their engagement stats. But you're still spreading their message, even if it's a screenshot, and you're still adding to that feeling of the world being awful by sharing constantly awful stuff. Now, I'm sure if you look through my Twitter history, you'll find some examples of dunking somewhere, but I try not to do it. Because, well, the world has enough challenges at the moment. Climate change, rising authoritarianism, the pandemic. There's lots going on for us to be seriously worried about. And yes, these awful voices out there are horrible people who are helping contribute to the badness in the world. But by sharing them, you're not really helping people feel hopeful about the future. You're helping contribute to this idea that the world is a horrible place and can't be saved. So next time you reach for that retweet button, think of it more as an amplify button. Is this a voice you want to make louder in the world? And will doing that make the world a better place? I like to think social media can be brighter and more positive, and certainly the social media companies have a role to play in helping that happen, but we can all do our bit too. If you're not already a subscriber to this channel, then hit subscribe and the bell and you'll be notified every time a new video goes live. And if you want more Big Revolution in your life, then why not try the newsletter and get news and analysis from around the tech world 6 days a week in your inbox from my fair hands. Just visit bigrevolution.net/newsletter and sign up. That's all for now. I'll see you soon.